Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Sorry, I had a little hiccup earlier with my webcam. For some reason, the webcam was not connecting to the live. Oh, I forgot to take these clips out of my hair. Child, what I got going on, y'all? So, this is real life. Okay. I hope everybody had a good evening. We'll wait and see who may tap in and come on live. I did not go live yesterday with You Got This because I had to take my kids to Bismarck, which is an hour and a half away. I had to take them there in the morning. They had dentist appointment. Yes, there are dentists here where I live, but we went to Bismarck and it was an all day event because their appointments were not back to back. So I had to get up early and I was tired. And the day before, some other things. But I said, let me get on here tonight and go live. If you can hear me, type a one in the chat box. Type a one in the chat box. I'm going live on TikTok as well. Hey, Sam. I hope everybody had a great week. Oh, come on. Sorry. I'm trying to start TikTok. What in the world y'all got going on over here? Anyway, I hope y'all had a great week. I hope everything is well with everybody. How are you? Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all coming on live. Hey, Carrie, thanks for being patient. Oh, we are doing well. We are doing well. Hey, TikTok, welcome to the live. This is Shantae with Thrive with Shantae. I hope you guys had a very good week. I hope you're having a good evening. Please bear with me. This is my first live on TikTok, but hey, welcome to the party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you had a good day, a good week, and I just wanted to jump on and let's just talk. Usually I do You Got This at 6 in the morning, um, Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me see if I can readjust my so I don't have to keep looking away. Usually I go live in the morning with inspiration and motivation, but I had not gone live the last couple of mornings. So I said, let me hop on here this evening because any time of the day is a great time for inspiration. But I wanted to get on and just chat. There has been a lot of shakeups going on um, for various reasons. There has been numerous layoffs. Layoffs will continue to happen um, in various sectors. Federal workers have been ordered to return to work immediately. Um, DEI projects or anything that they think is related to DEI has been placed on hold. So it is imperative more than ever that we get our money straight. We have to get our money straight. We have to get in position. Um, because like it or not, things are shifting and we have to be prepared. Either I forgot to turn my volume off on my phone. Either we're going to be a part and reap whatever is coming, or we're going to get eaten up. So we have to be prepared. We we got to be prepared for what's coming down the road. Um, a lot of people, a lot of people are online ranting and raving about the price of things, the price of rent. I got makeup on my shirt, y'all. I just changed shirts at the last minute. It's not dirty. It's just makeup. Hey, it's life. If you see it, just whatever. But I see a lot of videos of people ranting and raving about the cost of rent. Rent is so expensive, and I'm not denying that rent is expensive. Hey, Helen. Hey, Groovy, my thing. Thanks for watching, tuning in. Um, I'm not denying that price of everything is up. Rent is really a shakedown these days because you have to have some place to stay. But if where you're living, if the cost of living is too high, we have to be willing to move. We have to be willing to move to where there are jobs. There are plenty of jobs, that the pay is good, and that you can afford to live without having to live paycheck to paycheck, not because you're frivolous with money, but because the cost of living is just too high and it's just hard to make ends meet. And that is one of the reasons why I started talking about North Dakota. It's not that North Dakota, hey, milk chocolate, hey, breezy. It's not that North Dakota is like the best place on earth that someone could live. I'm not going to say that. But North Dakota has a lot to offer, a lot to offer. Many of you, especially you who have been following me on YouTube, heard me talk about being Black and living here in North Dakota. The title of the video was controversial, and it was controversial on purpose because I knew it would draw people's attention. It would draw Black people's attention because a lot of Black people will assume, oh, she's going to talk about the racism and the what have you. And I knew some white people would talk about, oh, here we go with the woke and all. But when people watched the video, they were shocked that the good information that I gave about living here in North Dakota. I had so many people reaching out to me, asking about the opportunities here, asking about the pay here, different things. So I decided to have the Move to North Dakota Summit. That's still going down on February 22nd. You can get your tickets to that at bit.ly/Move to North Dakota Summit. But North Dakota is very affordable. We have high paying jobs. And you guys that have been following me in a while, especially here on YouTube, hey TikTok, this is my first time going live on TikTok. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. But especially you guys who have been following me on YouTube and rocking with me for a while, you always hear me say, do not put your trust in a job and a job alone, that you need more than one stream of income. Because I don't care where you work, I don't care who you work for. These jobs ain't loyal. These jobs ain't loyal. Job today, no job tomorrow. And nowadays they're getting to the point where they don't really give you much of a notice. I mean, a lot of low down, dirty employers, they lay off people right before Christmas and Thanksgiving. Now, there's never a good time to get laid off, but to do that right before the holidays, and 9 times out of 10, they knew they were going to lay off months ahead of time. That's just low. So we have to have more than one stream of income. But we also need to live somewhere where it's affordable. If you're living somewhere where the rent is sky high, they only pay barely over minimum wage, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, not because you're frivolous with money, you're going out to the club, you're just wasting money away, but because the cost of living is too high and the pay is too low, you need to move. Move to where life is still affordable. Yes, North Dakota is cold. I'm not going to lie. It is cold here. It is cold here. But we have high paying jobs here, whether it's in the medical field, whether it's in tech, whether you work for the local city or the state, whether it's in agriculture. And I don't mean agriculture just as in picking crops, I mean the vast array of jobs in agriculture, um, medical, whether you work for the oil industry, because oil is big here in North Dakota, we have high paying jobs. And here in North Dakota, it's one of the very few places where you can get a high paying job without needing a college degree or a college education. It is possible. Here in North Dakota is one of the very few places where you can still afford to buy a home. Yes, interest rates are high, and the new American scam is the new American scam is telling people don't buy a home. Don't buy a home. That's the greatest scam we got going right now in America. Oh, when you buy a home, you got to pay when things break down. You got to pay for this. You got to pay. Yes, you do. You do. It's called getting a home warranty. So if something breaks down, they'll come out and fix it. But 9 times out of 10, your mortgage is not going to shoot up five, six, $700 at a pop. Some people I see they're getting renewal for their lease, and they're like, "Oh, my landlord's put my rent up $400, $500." That's the great American hustle. And you cannot pass down an apartment to your heirs. Well, they can take over the lease, but they don't own it. They don't own it. They don't get any equity. At least in a home, you get equity in it because value of the home go up. Yes, interest rates are high, but what do? You marry the house. What do they call it? You anyway, you look at the house and you worry about the interest. You interest rate is important, but you can refinance. When rates go down, refinance. Refinance. Don't get stuck in the trap of I want to live in luxury. So I want to live in a luxury apartment. You're paying $2,500, $3,000 for an apartment because it's luxury, but you don't own any equity in this. Make it make sense. But then we complain saying that our employer does not pay us enough. Hey, Jackie. Hey, everybody for joining on TikTok. Hey, yes, you can be a homeowner. The thing is, get your credit straight, get out of consumer debt. My husband and I, we have 4 kids. And this day and age, they say 4 kids are a lot. But I know people that had 6 and 7 kids. I know somebody who has 12 kids. That's a lot of kids. But kids can be expensive. All of my kids, it seems like they all need a new pair of shoes at the same time. They all need new clothes at the same time. And of course, they all want to eat every day, have to eat. But it is possible to raise a family and live a comfortable life. I used to live in Georgia. I lived in Georgia for 3 years. Georgia is a good place for some people, but Georgia was not my place. Georgia was not my place. At the time, yes, homes in Georgia were cheap. They're expensive now. But at the time that I lived in Georgia, you could get a mini mansion for like 150 grand. Homes were cheap, but the wages were low. The wages were low, and the competition was tight to get a good paying job. I got an opportunity. I heard about North Dakota. I found a job. They relocated me here. I came here, and life has been better ever since. Does it get cold here? Yes. Can my husband and I afford to raise our 4 children? Yes. Can we bought a home using just my husband's income? He's able to pay the mortgage with just his income because he makes enough money. Most places in America, you need 2 incomes to even get an apartment, let alone buy a home. Here in North Dakota, as far as I know of, and I've never heard of it before, and I lived in an apartment when I came here up until my husband and I bought a home the end of last year. They don't ask for, oh, you need 3 times the salary or whatever that crap is to be able to get an apartment. Are you kidding me? To get an apartment, even though you don't have an eviction on your on your credit. You've never been evicted. They just have all these hoops and stuff that you got to jump through. That's just stupidness. That's just dumb. But here in North Dakota, we don't have that. Here in North Dakota, where I live, you can still find an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, for less than $1,000. The last apartment my husband and I lived in, when we moved in, the rent was $825. When we moved out, we closed on our home in September. We officially moved in November, moved out in November. Our rent was $895 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage in a secure building. Where else in America can you hardly find that? And this is not a bad area, not a bad area. And North Dakota is very safe, very safe. We don't have a lot of problems that they have in other places. I can go out at night by myself. I don't have to be scared that somebody gonna jack me. I don't have to be worried about, let me take my little, in case somebody kind of jack me. We don't have those problems here. Is North Dakota perfect? No. Do we sleep easy at night? Yes, because our bills are paid, our children have what they need. And one thing we don't have to worry about is if my husband gets laid off, he's going to be able to find another job. He's going to be able to find another job. Now, we have more than one income. He has an income, I have an income. But if he loses his job, he's going to find another job, and it's going to be a high paying job. Where else can you have that in America these days? So my point is, if you live somewhere where the cost of living is high and the pay is low, or maybe you get paid a good bit, but the cost of living is just simply too high, you need to consider moving. It may not be North Dakota, because North Dakota is not for everybody. This may not be your place, but consider doing some research and moving somewhere where jobs are plentiful. Because I never recommend somebody moving somewhere for a job, and that's the only company. It's not a place that has a lot of good jobs and a lot of opportunity, because you can move for a job and 2 weeks later, they're laying off people or they're going out of business. I've seen that happen to people during the last recession. I saw somebody in Texas. She moved from California to Texas for a job at the Children's Hospital. They rescinded her offer after she already sold her house and was supposed to start. They told her like a week before she was supposed to start that they were rescinding her offer. Nonsense. These jobs ain't loyal. These jobs ain't loyal. Having a husband is good. I see you say you wish you had a husband. I love my husband. I wouldn't take anything away from him. But anything you can do with a husband as a 2-person, as a couple, you can do single. You can do single. I bought my first home and I wasn't married. I wasn't married. I wanted to buy a home. I wasn't married. I wasn't in a serious relationship. I wanted to buy a home. I wasn't one of them people that were going to, well, I got to wait till I get married. Mm-mm. 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 Why? Why? Being married is nice. It's great. But you don't have to wait to be married to get what you want, women. You don't have to be. And then you have some men that's like, oh, if you have a home, you don't need them. Forget them. You don't want them men. You don't want them men. You want the man that's like, okay, she's smart. We can build something together. She's got something. I got something. We'll build together. But you don't need a husband to get whatever it is you want in life. But we have to get our money straight. We can't just depend on one source of income. If you're dependent on one source of income, you're playing Russian roulette with your finances, because sooner or later, something's going to go wrong, because that's life. That's just life. Something's going to go wrong. Something's going to happen. There might be layoffs. There might be cutbacks. That's just life. We cannot solely depend on our job, because we never know what is going to happen. Nowadays, we're living in the easiest time to make money outside of your job. And some of us are just lazy. We just want to go to work, come home, and do nothing. And then when the job lays off, or the job doesn't pay enough, or the landlord jacks up the rent, we want to fuss and cuss. And I'm not saying it's right that they don't pay enough. They should pay a decent wage, a livable wage for an honest day's work. But let's just face it, we live in America, American greed. We're built on capitalism. It's always been that way. It's just more relevant now. It's just more noticeable now because the price of eggs are up. Everybody's feeling the punch, and not just a small sector of people. But it's always been the haves and the have-nots. That's just the way it is. It's just more people notice it now because it's a larger sector of people that's being affected by it. But we need more than one source of income. We're living in a time where it is the easiest time to make money, and not just from a paycheck from somebody going to work, somebody giving you a paycheck. You can make a digital product, and you can make a digital product for free. Canva has a free version. There's a free version of Canva where you can write a book and put it on and format it and everything on Canva. That's free. You can put in an e-form and put it on Gumroad. That's free. Gumroad does not charge you until someone purchase your item, and they take a percentage of the sale. That's free. You can upload your book on Amazon. That's free. And when I wrote my first book, well, it wasn't the first book that I published, that I sold. When I wrote my first book that I sold, ChatGPT was not around. ChatGPT was not around to help me write the book. I had to go from and research. Now you can get a whole book outline and what have you, chapter titles, everything on ChatGPT. When I wrote my book and put it out there for sale in 2019, ChatGPT was not around. And how did I come up with my first book? It was a book on credit repair. Credit repair, because when I first moved here to North Dakota, my credit was terrible because I didn't have a decent job for I don't know how long, 3 years. I was behind in my mortgage. I thought my house was going to get foreclosed on. And then once I started making money, I started my non-medical in-home care agency, and I started making money. I went down to the car dealer thinking I was going to get a car, and people were like, no, it doesn't matter how much money you make now. No, denied. And then they're like, do you have a co-signer? I didn't have a co-signer. I didn't have anybody that could co-sign for me. That made me mad. That And I said, I'm never going to get in that situation again where I'm embarrassed and denied for something. So what did I do? I started fixing my own credit. I started researching, finding out the credit laws. I found out that one of the easiest things to get off of your credit was medical bills. Now they passed the law that medical bills can't go on your credit report, but this was before that. I found out you use the HIPAA law to your advantage. If you're in collections for a medical bill, and I found out some other things, then I put it in an ebook. I put it in a soft cover book. I put it on Amazon, but I didn't advertise that it was on Amazon because Amazon took more of the profit. So I bought my author's copies of the books, which was like $2 and some change. So I had my author's copies. And then I put the book as a digital ebook on Gumroad. So people could go and download the book immediately. When they download the book, it has the letters and the templates. All they had to do is fill in their information and tweak the letters to their situation. People started calling me, oh, this is good, this is great, but I don't want to do it. Can you do it for me? Sure, pay me, I'll do it for you. I started fixing people credit. I helped people fix their credit where they were able to buy homes. But I used what I knew to sell to someone else. I was a solution to other people's problems. Once I started my non-medical in-home care agency, and I became successful at it. I started teaching other women, hey, the best business for you to get into, especially if you're a mother, is a non-medical in-home care agency. You don't need any medical experience to start a non-medical in-home care agency. In some states, you didn't even need a license. That has changed in Ohio, Michigan, and other places. That has changed. That has changed. But I started teaching people this is the best business you can get into. Why? Because you make your own schedule. First of all, senior care is a $1 billion industry. It's a $1 billion industry. And the government will pay you to help people that are handicapped or disabled stay independent in their homes and out of the nursing home. How do they pay you? Via Medicaid. And they pay you big bucks. I went from $12 an hour to over six figures in less than 12 months with 15 employees. I started training other people. Some of the people that took my class, they didn't do anything with it. Some people did, some people didn't. One of my most proudest student, the person I'm most proud of is the person, she lives in Florida. She started an agency and she has done over $1 million in revenue. What was she doing before she took my class? Working at a grocery store. She had no experience in the medical field. She is not a college graduate, but she took my class and now she has done $1 million in revenue. What did I do? I took what I learned and I presented it to other people to give them a solution to their problem. What was her problem? She was working at a grocery store. She had a child that had some medical issues. She wanted more for her children. Yes, she's married. Yes, her husband works, but she wanted to be a helpmate. She wanted more for herself and for her children. She wanted to be able to take off work without having to catch an attitude from her supervisor or people telling you no, you can't take off work. So she took my advice, she started her agency, and she's doing very well. We cannot sit back and wait for someone to come and rescue us. It's not going to happen. It may sound harsh. Some of us feel like, well, the government should help. Maybe they should. I'm not here to debate that. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. I really don't care because I know, especially as a Black person in America, the government is not coming to save me. They're not coming to save me. They're not coming to save anybody. Yes, they can write policies and enact laws, but in the meantime, what are you going to do? Are you going to cry, rant, and rave? Oh, the rent is high. I can't afford food. Go ahead and cry. Cry is hard. It makes you angry that you go to work every day, you work your tail off, but you still need food stamps to put food on your table. It's not right that you work a 40-hour week and you still need food stamps to put food on your table, even to buy cereal. Not even buying crab legs, lobsters, and steak, but just to buy chicken, bread, and milk. It's not right. But the fact remains, nobody's going to come and save you. You have to save yourself. You have to save yourself. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Trisha. You have to save yourself. Cry, get mad, cuss if you have to. But then what you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Get mad. Make a decision. Make a decision that if you're on food stamps, hey, I've been on food stamps before. I'm not ashamed to say. I remember the first time I started telling my story about how I took my $12 skill and turned it into a six-figure business, that my friend, associate was like, I can't believe you tell people you're on food stamps. Hey, I'm not embarrassed. Why should I be embarrassed? Now, I was embarrassed when I was on food stamps. I was embarrassed then, hoping none of my coworkers saw me with a food stamp card in the store. I was embarrassed then, but now I'm doing so much better. And I want to help people and let them know you may be on food stamps now. You may need those food stamps, but you can get on the other side of this. You do not have to be in lack for the rest of your life. You do not have to be in poverty. You just have to make a decision that I'm going to take control of my life. And no, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to take control, pray, ask God, seek for advice for him, and then make some changes. Make a decision. Make a decision. Make a decision. This is going to be the last year that you're in lack. This is going to be the last year that you can't get what you want. This is going to be the last year that you try to go get an apartment in, whatever, and they tell you no. This is the last year that when your baby need a new pair of shoes, and the shoes they're wearing are too small, that you can't go and buy them a new pair of shoes immediately or within a few days, that you go to the store, that you don't have to scrimp and save, rob Peter to pay Paul to get your baby a new pair of shoes. That's not right. And that is not what God has ordained for us. God said that he came to give us life and life more abundantly. Living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how you're going to eat, having to go down there to the food bank every week to get food is not the best life. You deserve better. You deserve better. If you're not a scammer, you're not a criminal, you're not ripping off people, you're going to work every day, you're treating people right, you deserve better. You deserve better. But nobody's going to give you better. Nobody's going to give you better. Nobody's going to give you better. You got to do it for yourself. You have to do it for yourself. The name of my credit repair book is Royal Credit. It's still on Amazon, but to be quite honest, I'm going to tell you, you can purchase it, but the information, because laws have changed, like medical bills no longer go on your credit report. It used to be up to if it was $300 or less, they couldn't report it. But the last president that just left, he made it a law that no medical bills could go on your credit report. So some of the stuff has changed. Like I used to recommend getting Self to help boost your credit, but they've changed their name. There's been some changes. So yeah, that's why I don't mention the name of the book, because there has been some changes. I have said that I'm gonna update the book, so I will be working on that to update the book. I really don't fix credit at the moment. You can send me an email at Thrive with Shantae, and we can talk. Or you can actually, and I should have put my links in the description, or where you can go and schedule an appointment with me, and we can talk about that. No, I'm not hiring. I'm not hiring. Um, but you can change your life around. Take it from me. You can change your life. And some people may say, "Go. You need to go back to college." Well, I'm not against college. I'm not. College is good, but things are challenging at a rapid pace. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Things are changing at a rapid pace that, in my opinion, college only makes sense for certain things, lawyer, doctor, and certain other fields. Otherwise, the information that you're learning, by the time you graduate in 4 years or what have you, that information is outdated. The thing that you went to school to get a degree for, that may not even be relevant anymore. So you have to do some research. If you decide to go back to school, you may need to get a certification. And in the meantime, what are you going to do? Listen, when my husband got laid off from his good paying job, see, let me tell a little bit more of my story. I always before I got married, before I moved to the North Dakota, before the recession, I always had a really good paying office job, for someone who had not graduated college. But then the recession came and things got rocky. And I didn't have a job. And I didn't have a job for 3 years. I had a job, but you know how some people say some job is better than no job? Not that job, because sometimes I didn't even break $100 a week. That job was one of those things that if I had kids and was getting assistance, it was no motivation to get off the system for this less than $100. Now, I'm not saying don't work hard to get off the system. I'm not saying that. But it was one of those jobs like this is not going to help me in my plight. But I moved here to North Dakota, got a job as a CNA. I was making $12 an hour. Now, back then, that was a lot of money for a CNA. This is before the pandemic when they started giving out the big bucks for CNA. This is before the pandemic. I was making $12 an hour, but still, that was no money to me because I was used to making way more money than that before. I used to work for American Express back in the day in their call center, and I made way more money than that. I used to be a purchasing agent for a paper company in Miami. Always made way more money. But when I moved here, I was making $12 an hour. My rent was cheap. I think my rent was like $675. It was affordable. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. The rent was cheap. I could afford to live on $12 an hour. Then my husband and I, we got married or what have you, and he made more money than I did because he worked for a company that made farming equipment, and then he started working for an oil company, and oil companies pay big money. So, but I wasn't worried because hey, my husband had the money. He had the money. So it's like, okay, I make $12 an hour, but it's no big deal. Then oil production went down. And my husband went to work one day and they said, oh, we're going to have to lay off some people. Well, he didn't get laid off, but literally less than 30 days later, the entire company had gone out of business. Okay, no big deal. It's North Dakota. He found another job for another company, paying good money that lasted 3 months. Oil production was still down. He got laid off again. That happened like 3 times. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this crap. I got to do something. And that's when I started my non-medical in-home care agency. Oh, Carrie, you're welcome. You're very welcome about the Canva advice. I think maybe I might do a class. If y'all want me to do a class on creating an ebook, digital product, let me know, and I'll host the class for that. But I was like, I'm sick of this crap. And I started my non-medical in-home care agency. And truthfully, I should have started my business years before he got laid off because when I was working in a nursing home, a lady, she told me about it. So I started doing it independently because here in North Dakota is one of the few states in the United States where you can do it as an independent person and not have to have an agency. So that's what I was doing. But then when he got laid off, I was like, okay, let me do something. So I started my non-medical in-home care agency. Was it easy? No, it wasn't because I didn't have any money when I started. I could not hire anybody because I didn't have money. Like, how was I going to pay them? So I literally worked 3 months straight, 7 days a week, literally 3 months straight, 7 days a week until I was able to hire people. Once I started hiring people, it was off to the races. It was off to the races. It was like, oh, and here's the thing. This is how the enemy trick you, how the devil trick you. Because when I first started making the money, and some of my clients, Medicaid was paying me like $15,000 a month for one person, depending on how many hours they needed and what have you. And I used to feel guilty. It was what I always wanted. Like, hey, I don't have to work for anybody. I can take my kids to where they need to be if I take off. And at one point, one of the companies my husband worked for in the summertime, they were closed for 3 weeks straight. So we literally took a 15-day vacation and we went to like 3 different states. And I was like feeling guilty that I felt like I'm getting money, but I didn't do anything for the money. But I had to get over that. That, hey, this is what I wanted. This is what I had prayed for. And furthermore, this is what people that own a business do every day. They have workers. Hey, Judith. Hey, Judith. Hey, Diana. Hey, MG. Hey, Ashley. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. But I had to get over that imposter syndrome or whatever the case may be, what was my problem. But it's like, this is what I wanted. When my kids are sick, I can take them to the doctor's office. I don't have to call into my job to say I'm going to be late. I don't have to worry about taking in an excuse. And here's the other hustle. Here's the other hustle. Now, there's no sick time and PTO time, vacation time separate. Now they lump all of it in as PTO. And where I was working at, this is the foolishness. This is the foolishness where I was working at. If you're, oh, you got an interview, a second interview. Uh-oh. Come on, Judith. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. You got it. You got it. You got the job. You got the job. But they lumped your vacation time and your sick time all together, called the PTO. Now here's the stupidness. If your child was sick, you could have an excused absence, but them jokers wouldn't pay you. They wouldn't pay you. Isn't that some nonsense? And you could take in a note from the hospital, or they wouldn't pay you. And that's some nonsense. And they wonder why workers have an attitude. And they say, oh, people don't want to work. No, it's not that people don't want to work. People want to be treated with dignity, respect, and they want to be treated fairly. They want to be treated fairly. It's not that people don't want to work. And my generation and the generation younger than me, they have figured out that the lies they told our grandparents and our parents, we figured out it was lies and a great American hustle. Oh, work till you're 65. Now they're trying to make you work till you're 72. The devil is a liar. I'm not working till I'm 65. Mm-mm. You want to take all my good years. You want to take all my good years. You want to give me a little bit of Social Security afterwards. We figured out that this is a lie. And they say, work hard, you'll get you somewhere. I know plenty of people, no disrespect, that they worked hard their whole life. And what do they have to show for it? A little bit of Social Security. And Social Security can't take care of them hardly. They still need food stamps. The rent is still high. They still need Section 8, but they've given their whole life from 18 to 65. And some people started working before they were 18. It don't make no sense. But they say, oh, people don't want to work. No, it's not that people don't want to work. It's a modern day indentured servant. It's what they got going on. And we have gotten hip to it. We've gotten hip to it. We've gotten hip to it. We're not falling for the okie doke. And if you find that you're barely making ends meet, and not because you're frivolous, wasteful, but because you just don't make enough, what you gonna do about it? And see, people don't like sometimes when I say this because it sounds harsh, but the cold hard facts are nobody cares. Nobody cares. The majority of people do not care that you cannot afford to pay your rent, that you can't afford to buy a whole week's worth of groceries, but they say you don't qualify for food stamps. Because people have their own problems, and then the people that can control the price of food, they don't care because they're getting richer. They're getting richer. They're getting richer. The fact is, most people do not care. The only person care is your mama and the good Lord. That's the only people that care. And God forbid if you got a raggedy mama that she need, because it's sad to say, and the older I get, I figured out that everybody mama ain't Pam. That's my mother, Pamela. Everybody mama is not Pam. It's sad. But you can't just sit around and cry and whine. Woe is me. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, it's hard. But damn it, and excuse my French, What are you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? And especially if you are a Christian, if you know the Lord, and I'm not talking about the people that, and somebody might get offended, talking about I know God, but you don't spend any time with God, you don't talk to him every day or on a regular basis, you using his name in vain and what have I'm talking about people that you have a relationship with God. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about religion, but I'm talking about you have a relationship with God. You and God communicate. He's talking to you. You have no business being broke, busted, and disgusted. You have no business being poor. You might be there, but you don't have to stay there because God has ordained a blessing for you. He has ordained a blessing for you. He said that He came that you may have life and have life more abundantly. He said that He would above all, that you prosper, be in health, even as your soul prosper. So, what are we doing as children of the Most High God? Poor, busted, and disgusted? And that's a question I had to ask myself when I was on food stamps, when I was like, okay, Lord, what's going on? Now your word says this, and this, that I'm blessed to be a blessing, that I'm the head and not the tail. But something is not right. Something's wrong. And I couldn't say, well, my pastor this, my pastor that. No, no, no. I can hear God for myself. I had to ask him, what's wrong with me that I'm missing what you say your word has for me? What's my problem? See, we want to sometimes blame other people when the truth of the matter is it's my problem. It's me. It's me. When me and my husband were $30,000 in debt and what have you, I had to take a cold hard look and say, it's me. When the Lord told us to get out of debt, we had to get serious and figure out what are we doing that we make this amount of money, but we have debt. We're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm I'm the problem. You know, when I was a kid and I would do something, my mother used to say, "You your own worst enemy. You your own worst enemy." And that's what we have to say. Sometimes we're the problem. Were you told to go back to school, get a certification? Did your job tell you that you would have get a potential raise, a promotion, a better opportunity with the same company if you went took certain classes, got a certification? They're going to pay for you to go and get your degree, but oh, school is not for me. I don't know, but you're complaining they don't pay you enough. You're the problem. Say it with me. You know, I used to work at a drug rehab, and they used to sit in a circle, and what do they have to say? Uh, my name is such and such, and I'm an addict. Say it. My name is such and such, and I'm the problem. My name is such and such. I know I don't make enough money, but I'm going out to eat all the time. I'm complaining that my employer doesn't pay me enough, but I keep going to buy a new pair of shoes that I don't need. I keep going to buy a designer bag that I don't need. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. And when we get honest with ourselves, we can fix our problem. Even God can't fix you until you're honest and tell Him, okay, Lord, help me. I have this problem. Help me. Because God don't push His will on anybody. You have to be, as my mother says, a willing participant in the plans and purpose that God has for your life. Just going ahead and admit, I'm the problem. When my husband got laid off from his job and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of, okay, you got laid off again. I didn't catch an attitude with him because I knew my husband wasn't rich when I married him. He didn't come with a trust fund when we got married. I was sick and tired of the situation. I was mad at the situation. And I had to be honest with myself that Okay, you had the ability to not even be in this situation if you weren't scared to start your business when you first heard about this. You were focusing on, oh, what may go wrong? I don't want to be bothered with this and that. But now you're in a financial jam and now you're frustrated and you're mad. I had to say, okay, yes, I'm scared, but I had to focus on what's the best that can happen. Now I got to get over being scared or do it scared anyway. Somebody's watching this and there's something they know they should be doing. You might even need to just be on YouTube, TikTok, telling your story, inspiring and helping other people, getting a check from YouTube and TikTok, but you're scared. Oh, people gonna have nasty comments. People, who cares? Who cares? Do they know you? And even if they do, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. I got on YouTube. Who like me, they like me. If they don't, they don't. Who cares? But I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to help inspire people. I'm going to help motivate people. I'm going to give people tips on how to come out of a defeated mindset. I'm going to talk to people about getting out of debt. I'm going to talk to people about starting their own business, but I'm also going to collect this check that YouTube has for me. I'm going to collect the check. I had to tell myself, oh, you don't have enough subscribers on TikTok. There's not a lot of people following you on TikTok. I got a notification. Oh, you can now go live. I said, okay, let me do it. Let me hit this live button and get my behind on TikTok because we're going to get a check from them too. Where else, if you're over a certain age, when has there ever been a time where somebody going to pay you to run your mouth and pay you good money to turn on the camera and run your mouth? It used to be if you wanted to be on TV or whatever, you had to have an agent, you had to have this, you had to have the right people to pitch you in places. Now there's no gatekeeper. Turn your camera on and start talking about what you know. And I know that's not proper English, but turn your camera on and start talking about what you know. Who like it? Great. Who don't like it? Oh well. People get on my thing, leaving comments. Well, thank you too for watching. Because you know what? You watched this video, you left a comment, you helped the algorithm, and you know what? You're helping me get more money. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. But focus on what's the best that can happen. When I started my non-medical in-home care agency, I was like, oh, I got to pay for workman's comp insurance. I got to pay for unemployment insurance. I got to have insurance. I got to have this. I got to have that. And my mind was like, well, you spend out all this money. What if something goes wrong? And what if you don't get any clients? Now, I don't know why I was worried about not getting any clients when I had clients as a single individual, but I could only service so many clients as one person. But I had to start focusing on what's the best that can happen. What's the best that can happen? Okay, I'm working a job right now and I see clients 4 hours in the evening. I'm getting $5,000 a month from this one person. Okay, if I start my agency, that means I can get people that need 8 hours in a day. 8 hours. How many units they gonna pay me? Medicaid? Oh, okay. Focus on that. What's the best that can happen? I'm gonna help myself. I'm gonna help my family, but I'm gonna help other people as well. I'm gonna help them change their financial situation. What's the best that can happen? When I moved here to North Dakota, I wasn't focused on, oh, I don't know anybody there. How many black people gonna be there? Because that was the main question. Oh, how many black, are there any black people in North Dakota? I used to tell them, I don't know. I have no idea. But I know what black person's gonna be there. What black, and when I first came here, where I live, there were not a lot of black people. Now I understand that we had plenty of black people, but they mainly stayed on the base. They were military. But now we're still a minority. but we're a minority in America anyway. But now we see more of us. But focusing on, oh, I don't know, there's not a lot of black people, but I can pay my rent. I can pay my rent with ease. I was able to start a business without a lot of red tape. People helped me here. And now we're homeowners. We have a 4 bedroom, 3 bath house, 2 car garage, huge backyard, right around the corner from one of the best schools here. We didn't even pay $300,000 for our home. Is it a brand new house? No. No, it's not. The light fixtures need updating. It needs some things to update it. But hey, we can afford this. We can afford this. My husband can pay the mortgage on his own. And if he loses his job, get laid off, or whatever may happen, I can afford to pay the mortgage if I have to. Not many places can you live where you can be able to afford to live on one income, to keep a roof over your head without the need for 2 incomes to do it. There's not many places like that. Not many places. So I tell people, especially black people, if you're not black and you're on this live, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. The Move to North Dakota Summit is for everybody. But if you're black, you're struggling, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't know how you're going to make it, move to North Dakota. There are plenty of high paying jobs here, and you do not have to have a college education to get some of these jobs. High paying jobs, affordable cost of living. Your kids are going to grow up in safety. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of nonsense like you have in the other major cities. We don't have those problems. Now, am I saying that there's no crime here? No, there's crime everywhere. Am I saying that there aren't some racist people here? No. Now, I haven't had any encounter with that, people that's downright racist, but I'm not gonna lie and say they're not here, because racism is everywhere. You got ignorant people everywhere. But are you gonna stay where you're at and complain, or are you gonna go somewhere else? And it may not be North Dakota. Do some research, find out where else there may be. And if you choose to come to North Dakota, you don't have to stay here. Come, make the money, build a life, take the money, and go somewhere else. But where in America can you find homes for less than $300,000? And there are homes that aren't raggedy, they aren't shacks. It's not some place where you're ashamed to have people over or tell people where you live. I mean, we have apartment buildings here and duplexes here that you can get for under $200,000. Where is that at? Where is that? Where is that? I'm looking at a townhouse that I've been eyeballing, 2 bedroom. I think it has 1 bath. I can't remember. I looked at it a while ago. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. It's a good size townhouse, nice size. $123,000. Where can you get that at? Where can you get that at? Do we have apartments here that are expensive? Yes. I'm not quite sure what they're doing and why they built that here. But hey, you have apartment buildings that have swimming pools here in the building and all the bells and whistles, luxury that's over $1,000 more expensive. But you have options. You don't have to get that here. You can find an apartment here for way less. For way less. So you come here, you can make good money, have an affordable place to live. All of your money isn't going to go to keeping a roof over your head. You can afford to live a good life here and sleep easy, because one of the worst things is not resting at night because you're worried about, are you going to get evicted? Is your car going to get repoed? That's worry. Who wants to be worried all the time? Who wants to be worried? And worrying ages you. Worry gives you stress. It ages you. It gives you all kind of You could have a stroke, you could have a heart attack. Who wants to be bothered with that? Who wants to be bothered with that? So I want to encourage you, if you are having a hard time, wherever you may be, consider moving to North Dakota. The Move to North Dakota Summit is happening on August 22nd. It's a virtual summit. It's live via Zoom. You can get your tickets at bit.ly/Move to North Dakota Summit. I guarantee you it's probably the best $37 you'll spend this year because it's jam packed with information. It's the best $37 you'll spend this year. And we'll have a panel of individuals from various backgrounds that are going to tell you about their life here in North Dakota. We have a OBGYN that will be speaking on the panel. We have a hospital administrator that will be on the panel. We have a realtor that will be on the panel. We have a travel agent. He's not going to be talking about travel. He's going to be talking about his experience as a Black man living here in North Dakota and raising his son. We have a small business owner that will be on the panel. I'm a small business owner, but she will be on the panel as well, talking about how she came here and her business is doing well and raising her daughter here in North Dakota. We have a retired CEO. He's going to be on the panel. He used to run the homeless coalition here. So he'll be talking about his experience here. He came here via military and just never left, and life has been good to him. And I'm trying to think who else is on the panel. And then I will be on the panel as well. Oh, we're having a retiree who will be on the panel. She came here. She just so happens to be my mother, to be 100% transparent. She came here. She started a daycare, had one of the largest daycares in town. Then she retired. She still lives here, and life is doing great. She's going to be talking about the affordability of living here in North Dakota, how she can afford to live and live well here in North Dakota. So if you're struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, you just want a new start, want to be able to do something better, offer your children a better life, come to the Move to North Dakota Summit. February 22nd. It's happening at 9 in the morning via Zoom. You can get your tickets at bit.ly/Move to North Dakota Summit. Probably the best $37 you're going to spend this year. And when you come to the summit, when you get the VIP ticket, which is $37, you're going to get access to a private Facebook group. The private Facebook group is for people that get the VIP ticket. So you'll have a community. Other people that are actually planning to move to North Dakota will be in the private Facebook group, so you can begin to make connections with people that will possibly be moving to the same city that you're considering moving to. You're going to get a customizable budget plan to help you budget for your move. But the best part of the VIP package is that you're going to get a resource guide, and the resource guide is going to give you information about the different major cities here: Minot, Grand Forks, Fargo, Bismarck. Let me see. Minot, Bismarck, Fargo, Grand Forks, Dickinson, and Williston. It'll be a resource guide. So it will give you information on apartments where you can get housing information. It'll give you information on daycares. Now, I have to tell you, you do still need to call and vet these people yourself. This is just a resource guide of what is available. It'll also include information to the local housing authority, because I know some people, you may be on Section 8, you may want to move your voucher over here, so it'll have information on that. But the best part about getting the VIP is that it will have an up-to-date listing of jobs that you can apply for. Now, the resource guide is not going to be available till the actual summit, because we want to make sure that the jobs that are listed are up to date. I don't want to put together a list like today, and then the summit doesn't happen until the 22nd, and then the jobs are outdated and no longer available. So you'll get that when the summit happens. So consider moving to North Dakota. And if North Dakota isn't your place, consider moving somewhere, but you do not have to be in lack. And even if you come here to North Dakota and you get one of the good high paying jobs they have here, you still need to start your own business. Don't let that be your only source of income because, as I always say, these jobs ain't loyal. These jobs ain't loyal. You can have a job today, no job tomorrow. Oh Lord, TikTok is acting up. What's going on? Sorry, guys. You can have a job today, no job tomorrow. That's just the way the life goes. But here in North Dakota is business friendly. Oh, come on, camera. Here in North Dakota is business friendly. It's not hard to start a business. You can start a business with very little red tape. There is a lot of businesses needed here. Like some places may be oversaturated with nail salons, beauty salons, estheticians, things of that nature. That is very much needed here. So if you're an esthetician, if you're a barber, if you're a braider, if you're a hairstylist, is very much needed here. And there's not a lot of red tape to start a business here. TikTok is going to sign you off. So I'm going to say thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Until next time, you guys be blessed and have a prosperous future. Have a good evening, TikTok. Is about to sign you off. I'm not sure. I'm going to figure this out, but thank you guys for watching. Sorry about that. But thank you guys. Thank you, YouTube. I really appreciate y'all. Congratulations, Judith, on your second job interview. I am so happy for you. I am so happy for you. I can't wait for you to get your opportunity to a better life. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Oh, I wanted to announce that starting next week, I'm starting a new series. Now, You Got This is still going to be, I'm still going to be doing You Got This. That's still going to happen in the morning time. But I'm starting a new series, Faith and Finance. That's going to be going over budgeting information, using your money wisely, things like that. Faith and Finance is scriptural stuff, not a whole lot of scripture, but also practical tips because we got to know how to use our money wisely. So that series will start next week. So stay tuned for more information on that. I appreciate you guys for watching. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate all of you and have a wonderful evening. Until next time, be blessed and have a prosperous future. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Thank you.